moment of progress. And today it was International Girls' Day. So I and Hassan conducted a workshop in a government school, and they were really excited about it. Everybody was happy about that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Um, what about the ultra Taliban extremists who don't want girls to go to school? I wonder how they're reacting to this.
Well, so far the security situation is quite fine, but no prominent reaction has been seen. But let's see what goes on. And now the situation is quite stable. I live in Peshawar, and there are few areas the situation is not that good, like the suburbs areas and the rural areas especially. But in the developed areas like Peshawar or the main city areas, the situation is quite stable so far.
Good, 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 good. It's amazing that she's only 17.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 22.
And you're studying business?
Yeah. I'm doing my bachelor's. I'm pursuing my bachelor's degree from Institute of Management Sciences. It's a university in Peshawar, and I'm studying on scholarship. On and off, I participate in voluntary work and I do tuitions, and I just love doing voluntary work. It just satisfies me and all that. I've been participated in many of the youth programs as well, and I'm looking forward to working that field as well. And last year, yeah, I've taught in a missionary school over here, convent school, for 2 months in grade one. That was a really good experience for me.
Great, great, great. I saw on your Facebook page that you were at UMass Amherst. You studied there?
Yeah. That was a scholarship program from U.S. Embassy. It was a fully funded program. They selected 25 Pakistanis, and we went abroad for 6 weeks, in which 4 weeks was our study program in UMass and on public policy, and followed by a 2 week study tour. So it was really nice. We went to so many states. We went to New York, Boston, and we visited a lot of areas. That
Wonderful.
was very good.
What surprised you about the U.S.?
Well, I was really impressed how human rights follow there. Like if you talk about our religion specifically, we have like in Islam, we have all those rights that are practiced actually over there, more than what we practice in Pakistan. So that was really amazing. Like in our religion, are supposed to, respect elders, we're supposed to be nice to children, and, the little efforts, for example, rules and regulations, and it was really amazing to see how the buses lower down for older people, and then people follow queues and the rules, and there are road crossing rules everywhere. So there was a very secure environment. Like one could independently roam around. Like if you take in the context of Pakistan, I don't think I can go alone in a place all by myself. So I really enjoyed biking there. So it was good.
Right. Whenever I talk to people like teachers who study here in Northern California, they're really surprised
Yeah.
at how little living is done on the streets. You know, if you go to India or I'm assuming Pakistan, guys are sleeping on cots in the street. People are talking, they're eating. There's a lot of activity in the community, whereas here people seem more isolated.
Mm.
Did you notice that?
The areas we were exposed to, they were very well-off areas. We didn't see like a lot of homeless people and all, although there were a lot of people. But we were exposed to a very elite class and I guess a class belonging to one different group. So that was one thing. And also one thing I really like students over there, they are enrolled in part-time work, but they're very much independent. Over here in Pakistan, there's a trend of dependency of the parents or elders when it comes to financial or education. Before these things, they don't spend work. Over there, they were doing part-time jobs, They knew how to drive. They were engaged in so many other activities apart from studies. That was really good.
Yeah, except that I think what studies show that American students don't get enough sleep. They're tired because
Yeah.
they're studying and working and trying to do homework, and it's not good for their health that they get such little sleep. Um, in your university, what percentage roughly are women?
Well, the ratio is very low. I guess less than 50%, like around 35 or 40%.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. That's what I'm saying. See, over here there's a diversity. Like if you go to city areas, you'll find quite balance between men and women. But if you go to rural areas and suburbs of the city, then there is a great difference between men and women, but working ratio and all that. Because over here there's I don't know if you're aware of the religion over here or not. People are very conservative over here.
People are what? I'm sorry.
They're very conservative. They
Oh
don't
yeah.
allow women to go out and all that. So now the trends have been changing. Like if you talk about developed cities, for example, if you talk about Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, then you'll see women are the equal to them with the men. But if you consider like rural areas, northern areas like Chitral, some areas in Peshawar, Fata area, and Banu and small towns, then over there is uh, quite different between women and men.
Mm-hmm. Hassan showed me a video just of him going into the villages, and you saw no women. I saw maybe a few women, pretty much in.
And
They didn't have just hijab. They had the robe, and they were all covered.
yeah, yeah,
They didn't have niqab, but they were definitely covered, and they were definitely walking to a certain place. They weren't having a walk to take a stroll.
yeah.
Um, so, how are your parents feeling about your security going out to teach in some of those villages?
Well, as I told you, I'm very passionate about volunteer work. So, of course, they were a bit hesitated at the start for allowing me, but then, you have to deal with the situation. You can't always sit back and give security as an issue.
So, how do you get there? How will you travel? What
Well,
means of transportation? I mean, will you drive? Will you take a taxi? Will you take a bus?
I'm learning driving so far, so I'll be probably taking a cab.
Mm.
Yeah.
And has Hassan gone over the 6 or 7 young kids he's found for you to teach?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh. And the workbooks?
Well, he hasn't given me course outline as yet. We have discussed that what it's going to like basic math, English, and science, and something about current affairs and all that. So yeah,
I found some workbooks online that are literacy in Pashtun, and no, it's not in Pashtun. It's in the national language. So
uh-huh.
yeah, so he has specific workbooks, and he just works with those.
Right.
So you don't have to make up your own materials. Um, and then you'll teach in someone's home.
Yeah.
And have you talked yet to those parents?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean the parents of the students,
Yep.
and they're okay.
They're okay with that, and in fact, they were really happy for this initiative. And I was telling them that U.S. People are interested in that, and they were really, really happy because at times over here, some of the people don't have positive images because of the U.S. going to south and
Oh
all that.
yeah, right.
That's the rural areas and all that. So I was telling them that this is supported by U.S. and they were happy about it.
Good. Um, so what I found when I Skyped with some of the students is they had a very narrow, small view of life. Like if I asked them,
Yeah.
what kind of work would you like to do? They either said nurse or teacher. And one,
Exactly. I figured that out too. Today we had a event at the girls' school, as I told you. So I was giving them a session on career development also. So I also figured that out, that it's like a set trend. They follow trends. Like for women, it's going to be doctors. For boys, it's going to be engineers. The preset trends which is incorporated in our society, they're just following that. Although there were quite a lot of students who were good at drawing or literature or wanted to join army, but then again, it's like parents play a very eminent role in our society in choosing our careers rather than focusing on our strengths. So I was giving them a session on this today, and I told them to do what you enjoy doing, do what you are good at doing, rather than following the trend or becoming an engineer or a doctor.
right, especially because there aren't going to be jobs if everybody
Yeah.
wants to be an engineer or a doctor. Um, so Hassan's told me that oftentimes Pashtun people marry their cousins, and it's kind of expected by the family. Do they have a cousin picked out for you, or can you make your own choice of a husband? How's that going to work?
Well, usually the case is that it's already arranged by parents.
And do they have someone in mind for you?
Well, as I told you, that trends like over here, there are two extremes. If you belong to the rural areas, then it's probably going to be arranged without even asking you and all that.
Right.
But if you live in a developed city area, then the mentalities have changed a lot. Like in my case, I think I'll be able to suggest anyone if I have anyone, I will be straight away just my parents are. I
Yeah.
want to marry.
Good.
So it depends from area to area, and mentalities are changing. People are thinking, going out of the nutshell of conservatism, but as I told you, it all depends on the area you're
Yeah. Yeah.
residing in.
Right. I've really found that from working on my book about global youth activism that it's not today, it's not what country you live in, but it's whether you're rural or urban. And kids who grow up in middle class, educated, urban families have very similar attitudes and
Okay.
music preferences and clothing and all that. It's
Yeah,
interesting, huh? How global it is.
exactly. Obviously, it depends on the society you live in, the people you're surrounded by. They have a impact on you.
Right. 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 So, what I never hear anyone talking about feminism or a women's movement in Pakistan. Do you know people do you call yourself a feminist? What's the attitude towards a political women's movement?
Oh, well, that's you're very much right. But a lot of work has been done by international organizations rather than local organizations over here. For
Like,
example, UN do a lot of research and research work. I've been through the research paper. In fact, this year I have to do a research. So I selected my research topic as sexual harassment in women's sexual harassment in working place. So yeah, that's very much right that a lot has to be done over here. There's so much, because, Pakistan is a male dominant society.
it's a what? Pardon?
It's a male
Ah,
dominant
yeah, yeah.
society.
Right.
Um,
Well,
trends
everyone
are,
is.
trends are changing, but of course, change cannot happen in a spur of moment. It's requires time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But,
Do you have brothers and sisters?
yeah.
How many?
We are four in total, three sisters and one brother.
And what's your birth order? Are you one, two, three, or four?
I'm the second child, the middle child.
Uh huh. And the reason I'm asking is I want to understand why you're such an achiever, and sometimes the firstborn has more impetus to achieve. But was the first one a boy or a girl? Pardon?
Sure.
Girl. So what would you say is why you're in college and you go abroad and you're interested in being out in the world? What were the influences that encouraged you to be an innovative thinker?
Oh, well, I think that if you talk about my case personally, my elder sister, she's like, you know how parents give more importance to first child and they're very pampered and all that. So, I being the second child, I always felt that, I've been discriminated and nobody is giving me more attention. So then I realized that, and I then have this strong passion of being independent, that I have to do all my work on my own.
Mm.
So, and apart from that, it really gives me a happy feeling and satisfies me when I help the society. Because, Pakistan has a lot of problems, but with every problem, there comes a solution. Actually. And one should make an effort rather than whining over the problems. Problems are never going to go.
Right, right. Um, in this recent uprising that Khan led, do you think that he was being standing for principle, or was he just wanting to get power, or what was your analysis of those big demonstrations?
Oh, well, yeah. There are negative sides and positive sides to every action, and I believe that if you look at the positive side, it actually motivated the youth to raise the voice, which is really a good thing, I believe. Now, youth, I see, like, if you go 10 years back, I see youth now in Pakistan is more motivated to work, and they are passionate to raise voice against whatever is happening. For example, if there is corruption, or if you take example of daily life, if you encounter a problem in a school, people usually years back, people used to be afraid of talking to their principals or teachers, but now they're very confident about it. That was a plus point to it. Apart from that, yes, of course, political power must be one of his objectives because he wants to take power. But if you look at in a positive way, then I think he has motivated people.
Motivated what? It's sometimes the it kind of blurs your sound, so I can't hear. It
Huh.
motivated what?
It motivated the youth to raise voice,
Uh
to work, to talk about the norms which have been happening and which are wrong. So now they're very much independent to think rather than following the stereotypes and customs.
mm.
For example, years back, if someone, the head of the family, for example, if they support some party, for example, if they support PPP, the entire house would support that. But now the trends are changing. If you have your own choice, your own will to choose whoever you like. So I think he played a significant role in motivating the youth and telling them that you can do a lot more and you can raise your voice. You should raise your voice.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um, so in the countryside, every girl's going to be wearing hijab, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't? Do you wear hijab when you go out?
No.
And you don't get any flack. You don't get any cover
Good.
your head, girl.
But obviously, when I'll be going to the rural area, then I will. Definitely.
Yeah. Um, so what's your career goal? Do you want to work for an NGO, or what's your ideal job?
Well, I'm working. I'm going to do something in the realm of education. I want to increase the standard of education in Pakistan, and I'm currently working on opening my own NGO that would be creating opportunities for youth and for students. Because what I believe, like when I went abroad, what I saw that there was a lot of opportunities for students. Like for example, even their study style, the study methodology was very different than what we follow. We follow quite bookish knowledge. A teacher will come, teach, take the book, and everybody will just stick to the book. over there, what I learned was there was a very interactive session incorporating current affairs, and,
Yeah.
dealing about practical things rather than focusing on bookish knowledge. So I'll be working, and very soon I think I'm just planning out and taking out time to start my own NGO or organization that will create opportunities for youth. For example, there should be youth forums, there should be leadership summits, and there should be leadership conferences, especially for the government schools, because over here the management of government schools is not at all up to the mark. Private schools are doing pretty well, but they're very expensive for everyone to afford. But government schools lack in management.
Yeah, I hear a lot of times the teachers don't come, or if they come to school,
Yeah,
they drink tea, they
yeah.
hit the kids. So
There's no check and balance in government schools. But, no one is there to supervise the heads and all that. So that's the big goal.
don't the schools have principals like or headmasters or
They
whatever?
do. They do have it. But I think what I found is that that's just for the sake of, registering themselves as a principal or authoritative body. They don't work that efficiently.
Why is that? Because once they have a teaching job, no one can fire them, so they figure I'll do what I want.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That could be one of the predominant reasons.
And are people talking about changing that? Because I read that there was a man who had a TV show where he'd go on his motorcycle from school to school and kind of show people the problems in the schools. Does that? Have you ever heard of that show? I'll look it up.
I'm sorry for that too.
So if you become a teacher and you don't go to class, no one can fire you?
Well, not in government schools. Not in government.
Hmm. And can you pay someone to get a teaching job? If I give you this person a bribe, can I get a job?
Well, it does happen. It does happen. Not in all the cases, but yeah, reference power and sources to work in Pakistan.
And how are you? So you would set up an NGO that would address youth issues and educational issues, and you would organize summits and workshops
Exactly.
and that kind of thing. And you wouldn't do actual instruction. You would more address the broader issues of how to change education.
Well, basically, as I told you, I'm working on it, specifying the more specific field rather than going too broad. But initially, I'm a student myself, I cannot allocate much time to that. But for an initial step, I want students to get productive, to add more, to enhance their CV. Because what I see in Pakistan, as I told you, they're very limited to books. Like you even said that, they don't think out of the box. And for that, it's very important to create workshops and interactive sessions so that they open up, they think more broadly than sticking towards the books and apply their practical knowledge. For example, a year back, I conducted an entrepreneurial workshop for MBA students. So basically, what they study is in the books that, all right, how to start up a business and, blah, 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 all the bookish knowledge, but they never practically did that. So I conducted an activity in which they were given a week in which they were supposed to set up their stores in the university and sell their products. So that went really well.
Good.
So application knowledge is really important.
Yeah, right. You learn so much more by experimenting than just reading and
Yeah,
memorizing.
yeah,
That I think that's a problem throughout all of Asia, I would say, is that people study to pass tests. Especially in
exactly.
high school, you just study to learn what's going to be
Right.
on the entrance exam, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
uh, and and you don't think. I mean, it's not about thinking; it's just about memorizing.
exactly.
Well, good for you.
That's
That's really exciting. I have yeah, I've been working on this book about global youth for a
mm-hmm.
decade, and I have three book drafts, and I'm thinking you might like to critique some of them. I have a book on girls issues and girls activisms, and I have a book about global youth activism, the uprisings that started in the Middle East called the Arab Spring, and I have one on youth culture and beliefs, their religious, philosophical values kind of things. So I would love it if you find time to critique.
Definitely.
Maybe start with the girls' book.
Yes.
Great. I'll email it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Email me the link or whatever the book is, and then I'll definitely read it. I just love doing this stuff.
Oh, great.
So.
And if as you read, I would really like you to don't think, how can I be polite or say this nicely? If something, just really say, this is boring, this is repetitive, this is too many facts in a row. Please don't think you have to be tactful.
Criticism, yeah. Criticism is always, productive.
Yes, and if you have any papers that you want me to read, just for the, do you write in English in school, or what language do you?
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
So if you ever want me to, we can exchange the favor, and I can critique what you write.
Definitely. And if you have any research topic in mind, you can even do a joint research, because this year this will be part of my course of BBA. It's a compulsory requirement to do a research thesis. So we can even do that.
Okay, well, let me think about this. Well, why don't I'll send you the book on the girls, and then for your research, I have over 4,000 responses to my survey questions for the book, and I have them all in the statistical package for social sciences, so it's all in Excel. So the questions are things like, if you could ask a question of the wisest person in the planet, what would you ask her?
I went through that. I went through those questions. I just read those a minute back. Yeah.
So I wanted to give them open-ended questions, not A, B, C, or D answers. Yeah. So it could be totally come from them. So you could definitely get a thesis from those questionnaires, because it's both qualitative and quantitative. And you can play with the data. And the way I have the data sorted is the questions by gender, by age, so 12 and younger, 13 to 19, region, and so you could do it. That's a great thesis.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So the university server here doesn't like big files, so I'm going to send you a bunch of stuff from Earth Haven Chico at Hotmail.
Okay.
So you'll know that's from me. So I'll send you the girls' book, and I will send you the some of the data that from the, and you can play with that, and you can tell me what more we can do. But I'm just trying to think about your thesis. Well, I was just interested in, do boys and girls have different attitudes? What are they? And there weren't that many differences. There were more differences by region. But you'll see when you play with this.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any questions for me?
Well, if you can suggest me how I should, draft my study methodology. So far, I have arranged a simple whiteboard with some chairs and all that, and sitting there, I'll be talking about the current affairs also, and the course material provided by Hudson. So he's provide me with the course material for the students, so I'll go through that. What else do you expect from this program?
I think because they're illiterate, you're starting from the ground up. So if you can teach them to read the front page of a newspaper, yeah. So I think that's a lot of work to do in 100 days to teach them the
Yeah.
basics of reading and numbers. So
Yeah.
that's plenty. And then I would see, when the kids have said that they only listen, most of them don't have television, they certainly don't have internet, and they only have local radio, which is mostly music and local news, so
Yeah.
they don't have any sense of global issues like global
Mhm.
warming or climate change. So
Yeah.
if you can introduce some of those global,
Videos.
so they think in terms of the bigger world that they're a part of. But it's hard because, well, it'll be better when they can
Well,
read.
oh, I think that's a great idea and it's doable. Like I can download videos on my laptop and then pick that and show them that.
Great,
I think
great, great,
it's a
great,
good idea.
great. Okay, so what I will do is, I think that Western Union isn't open on Sunday, so for sure Monday is a holiday called Columbus Day, but
Okay.
I will try Sunday or Monday to send you money, and I'll just send it to your name in Peshawar, and you just go to the Western Union station and pick it up.
Sure.
And then when I do it, I'll email you the number, and then you just give them the number.
Yeah, sure.
And then you will keep in touch and you can tell me how it's
Definitely.
going, but we'll definitely get you a thesis, no problem.
I was really excited when Hassan told me that, you have to do a Skype session with him. I was like, wow, I was so excited. I was throwing so many mails to you. I was like, where are you? So,
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I really want to be of assistance to you in any way that I can. I love your idea of opening up a broader view of the education system. You'll be the second Malala.
uh-huh. Well, everybody has some uniqueness, and everybody can be Malala. It doesn't matter if you get a recognized award or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, right, right.
So,
And if it's okay with you, I recorded our little session, and I'll put a link to the website, and so people can see you.
yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
great, great, great. All right, well, we will be in touch. This is our introduction. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you so
this.
much.
Thank you.
Pleasure talking to
Okay,
you.
I'm going to send you a lot of stuff, so get ready.
Don't worry, I'm up for it.
Okay, bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.